Hey everybody, it's me again, Adam Chapnick, your very favorite host. I'm with the Security Token Academy, and we are here at Crypto Invest Summit in Los Angeles, California, and joined by friend of the show, CEO and founder of Securitize, the one and only Carlos Domingo. Thank you for being
Adam.
with us. All right, so we've talked to you guys a lot. We are fans, obviously, of Securitize.
Thank you.
You guys are one of the sort of the mainstays of the entire security token industry. But you've got a lot going on, so we always like to check in with you every now and again to hear what's the latest. So what sort of things have been happening since last we spoke? How's it going over at Securitize?
So I think a lot of things have been happening, but perhaps one of the most interesting things is that we recently moved one of the early security tokens that was issued outside our platform before we existed, actually, which was the BCAP token from Blockchain Capital. This is a project that I know very well because it was a source of inspiration for me to create SpiceBC and subsequently Securitize. I've always looked up at them as the pioneers of the industry. So the fact that eventually we kind of convinced them to move their token from their original platform into our platform to make sure they can provide compliance and all the token holder management services is a great achievement.
That's a huge bragging right. So for those of the viewers who don't know sort of the history of this, there have only been a handful of funds that tokenized, right? That actually started themselves their own tokens. Whether it was Blockchain Capital, you had Spice,
yes,
and then you also had Science, I think, was another one.
Yes, so Science was it came out of after Blockchain Capital. So the order was Blockchain Capital, then Science, and then Protos in Europe, and then Spice. So today actually was kind of leaked in one of the panels that Science is also moving to our platform.
Wow!
Our dear friend Luke Kerner kind of leaked it out in the middle of a panel.
The crypto oracle himself, also a friend of the show.
Wow! So this is for us something that we're very proud of because it actually validates that our platform and our technology is kind of what people need. And Greg from Science was on stage this morning saying very nice words about why they chose Securitize to basically reissue their new token. So that's
how terrific! Yeah, so that says a lot. If I guess 3 of the OG 4 are all migrating onto your platform.
Hopefully the 4th one will come as well.
It's inevitable now. Probably.
It's inevitable,
yes. So, giving you free reign to brag, why do you think those guys decided to shift into the Securitize platform?
I think one of the main reasons we actually have a working product, which is very important.
Yes, that is important.
So I think that the fact that we started before other people and we actually managed to build technology because we were trying to solve our own problem, which was initially tokenize SpiceBC and issue our own token, allow us to basically come early into the market, and this is a virtuous cycle. So the more tokens come to our platform, the more the partners like exchanges or custodian services want to integrate with our digital securities protocol, and the more integrated we are in the ecosystem, the more other tokens we can bring on board. So
amazing. So now that you guys are sort of you're around first base, so to speak, what are you seeing as the most promising signs in terms of adoption from either side? If it's the issuance, the issuers, if it's platforms that you're partnering with, where are you seeing some signal that things are positive and that are growing?
I think what we're seeing is that we started getting the first batch of institutional investors and institutional projects that are moving into security tokens, and that's the important thing, because I actually don't like the concept of security tokens are a way to fix ICOs or to make ICO legal. So that's a very short-sighted thing. I think security tokens are a bigger thing. It's about digitizing securities on the blockchain to provide a lot of the efficiencies that come with real-time settlement, traceability, auditability, and automation of digitized securities.
Absolutely.
And I think that the sign that we're moving towards that direction and away from we're going to make ICOs legal is a very good sign.
Right, and having the institutions give that imprimatur is a big step. So what about on the other hand? Are you seeing some sort of friction points or challenging elements that are making it harder for people to kind of come en masse?
I think there's still friction points, obviously. The number one friction point I will say is the liquidity, because there's a big promise around security tokens and the exchanges haven't launched. We work very closely with Open Finance, which is going to launch very soon, we hope. And then, the companies like SharesPost, AirSwap, T0 has announced also that it's launching, which is great. So I think that's kind of one of the, it's not really a friction point, but it's a unfulfilled promise that, is holding people from moving strongly towards security tokens. And then the other area which you're getting fixed, but still there's a bit of friction, is custodian services, obviously.
Right. What about that? What are we seeing happening there?
So, I think that the fact that companies like Kingdom Trust or Coinbase, they're moving into the space,
right,
is great. We have some announcements coming soon on that respect, because for us it's very important that, the investors in the projects that our issuers do, get proper custody. So at the moment, what we tend to do in many projects is we give the investors the option to just take the security without the token or take the security with the token to avoid the problem of, what do I do with the private keys and if I lose them, blah, blah, blah. But I think when that gets fixed, then you will also see a lot more influx of investors.
It's funny because the word custodian or custody didn't even come up in our conversations for maybe the first 9 months that we did this.
Now it comes
and
all the
now
time.
it's all anybody's talking about is custodianship. It's like the big thing.
Definitely.
So it's I think a natural evolution that is people are realizing, oh yeah, wait a minute, we need someone to hold on to these things.
Definitely. I had a very funny story.
We love those.
so when we were doing the fundraising for Spice VC, we sold to one family office back in Spain. I'm not going to say which one, obviously, but a big family office that they bought into the story about what Spice was doing and security tokens, etc. And they actually never registered the wallet with us. So we never sent them tokens, and we kept them what we called treasury. And then one day they contact us and they say like, we need the tokens. What are the tokens? And we told them, we need your address. And I meant like the wallet address. And they sent me like the email address of the people. It's like, okay, now we have a problem here. Because these guys haven't realized that they actually need to create a wallet. And we walk with them on how to do it. They felt comfortable. They did themselves without any custody. But this is kind of a reflection of the problems that the industry has.
And they're like the earliest movers. They still didn't even know. That's really funny. That says it all, actually, doesn't it? So, so what do we expect in the next, I would usually say a year, but with you guys, you pack a year into about 3 months. So let's give you 6 months.
It's actually the opposite. 1 year feels like 6 years.
Yeah, right, for you, exactly. So what do we expect? Where are we now? It's October, so by April, what are we going to see?
I think by April we're
Securitize?
going to see these changes launching, and many of the tokens that we are issuing already or we're migrating in the platform, like Spice, Blockchain Capital, 22X, Science, etc., that are going to start being traded. And I think that's going to be a landmark moment for the industry because we're going to see how liquidity comes. My expectation is that liquidity is not going to be great at the beginning, but it's going to be the first signal towards that direction. And then the second thing that we're going to start seeing from the kind of project that I'm getting now is a more complex tokenization. So not just simple equity or a dividend or tokenizing a fund that we know how to do very well, but derivative products, debt products, and more interesting types of securities being tokenized.
They're already starting to build those with you? Are you seeing some?
We already start getting customers approaching us to do those things.
Oh, that's great.
And those are actually much more complex, especially debt.
Yeah, we love that.
Debt is complex, but debt is like people love debt. And then also we started working with real estate. We have some REITs coming up, which are also an interesting tokenization class. So I think that the industry is going to become more mature and more complex than it was before.
Yeah, exciting. I mean, I'm looking forward to when we start talking about the non-fungible stuff and talking about fractionalizing Picassos in some guy's house and things like that. You'll have to keep us posted. I know, we love talking about this stuff. Great, so in terms of your prediction we always love predictions, as you know. I was forced you to make predictions.
Bitcoin price is going to be...
Bitcoin 20,000, name the date. No, ignore. We don't care about that here. We're the security token economy, so we care about where you think the security token ecosystem will be, let's say the end of 2019. Are we going to have major institutions really involved? Not yet. Are we going to have major adoption across new classes of issuers? Or is it going to still be cold feet with the investors? I think, what do you think?
End of 2019 will still be kind of like the second stage.
Okay.
I think that today where we are is that there is very few security tokens actually issued on the blockchain. You hear a lot about people, I'm doing this security token project, but people that have actually raised the money and issued the token for investors, that has really not happened. There's very few out there like the ones we've just mentioned.
Yeah.
I think by end of 2019, I'm expecting that the number will be above 100.
Great, okay.
I'm expecting a lot of them come from us, but also obviously from our competitors that are also working very hard on making things happen.
Sure.
So I think that's my number one prediction. 100 security tokens
by the end of 2019. We love it.
And then my second prediction
number two. Here
is
it comes.
that we're going to have more than 10 exchanges trading security tokens.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
Which is another important thing because you need that part of the ecosystem as well, the liquidity. So I think that we have like 3 or 4 exchanges that will launch by the end of the year, and the number will double or more in 2019.
Very exciting. Well, you heard it here from Oracle number 2 himself.
Yes. I'm never going to be number 1. That's Lou has taken
Lou
that
is the
privilege.
man. You can't overtake him. But Carlos,
Even though
thank you.
I kind of look like Lou a little bit.
Same hairdo. That's
Same
right.
Haircut.
Same hairdo. All right. Well, Carlos, thank you again,
Okay,
as
thank you,
always, for
Adam.
joining us. Oh, wait. Before you go, do you want to give a little shout out about an event that's coming up?
Yes, so we're doing an event next week in Las Vegas, part of CryptoCon, actually partnering with Securitize Academy,
yes.
which we just became a corporate member as well.
That's good thinking.
So I encourage everyone to do the same thing, and we're going to run what we call the Security Monster event that we did in Consensus first, and we're doing our second edition in Las Vegas next week, so I'll expect everyone to be there.
Yeah, don't miss it. All right, well, thanks again,
thank you.
Carlos and Securitize.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.